Hey everyone, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this. I'll try to make these videos not too long. So for those of you that are trying to fit these into your studying time, they won't take too long. Beginning with number 1, 3, 2, 3, and 4, we need to write the polynomials in standard form, get their degree and their leading coefficient and the type of polynomial. Just recall, so if I'm looking at the very first one, our standard form, we always write our biggest terms first, and usually we are looking at our variables with the exponents. So looking at these two, my y to the 9th is the bigger term. Doesn't matter that it has a negative 2/3 in front. What matters is that the exponent is bigger. So this is actually already in standard form, and my degree comes from my biggest term, which is y to the 9th, so my degree is 9. My leading coefficient is the number attached to my biggest term. In this case, it is negative 2/3. And the type of polynomial is a binomial, because this polynomial only has 2 terms. Let's check out number 2. Here, at first glance, it may look like my degree would be 5, but actually it's 6, because remember, when we have variables attached to each other and they have exponents, we need to add their exponents together to get how big of a term it is. So this one here, I would take 3 plus 3. So actually this one has a degree of 6. So my degree is 6, and if I'm putting these in standard form, then I have to put the negative 5b to the 3rd power times c to the 3rd power plus 6a to the 5th power plus 8. And my leading coefficient then is negative 5. The type of polynomial is, because there is 3 terms, it is a trinomial. Okay, and the tip is, like, remember, tri for like tricycle and bi like bicycle. I'm looking at number 3. Again, 1, 2, 3, 3 terms. All right, now I don't know what I was intending when I wrote this, but I will not try to stump you where you have a biggest degree in 2 different terms, okay? I have a degree 4 there and degree 4 here. Remember that when we have exponents that are the same and they are our biggest, well, if we just have exponents that are the same, then we look at the variable, and after we order by exponent, then we order by alphabetical order. So I'm going to order this one x to the 4th plus 4y to the 4th minus 1, just because x comes before y. My degree either way would be 4, and my leading coefficient would be 1, because they would be a 1 right here. Let's check out number 4. 12xyz, my standard form is pretty simple since there's only one thing to put. My degree is going to be 3, because each one of these variables is raising to the power of 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. My leading coefficient is 12, and this is a monomial. All right. So real quick, an example like this one we won't really have to worry about on the test, if I recall right. I'm trying to remember how I wrote that, but I did not smell trinomial correct. Anyhow, let's move on to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Find the sum or difference and write it in standard form. Okay. Let's zoom in and let's check out number 5. Here, there are parentheses. I can drop them in a moment, but I have to be careful that none of the signs would change when I drop them. And because this is a plus right here, if I was to distribute this plus or positive 1 to all 3 of these, it would not change any of the signs. So I'm going to go ahead and write this as 5 minus 4x plus 13x minus 8x squared minus 9. Now I need to combine my like terms, and I also want to put them in standard form. So one of the things I like to do when I'm trying to order or I'm combining any like terms is I like to in some way differentiate them to myself so I know that everything gets accounted for. So my x squareds, how I would perhaps mark this is underlining it twice. And my x's I would underline once, and my 5 and my negative 9, maybe I won't underline them, or maybe I'll do like a dash line. This just helps me because I know I'm going to go on to go in a decreasing size of exponent, so I'm going to go ahead and put my negative 8x squared first. You could put minus 4x plus 13x, or some of you guys may go ahead and combine those two together. And then I have 5 minus 9. Alright, I will leave this as two separate steps, and then perhaps in the next few problems I will combine them in this step. And another thing that I may do is once I have accounted for them, when I go through I will cross them out in some way, but in a way that I can read them in case I do make a mistake or I want to go back and check my work. Alright, so let me go ahead and combine these like terms. Negative 8x squared plus 9x minus 4. And the nice thing about ordering it in decreasing order from this step right here is it's already going to show up into standard form. Let's check out number 6. Number 6, again, I can actually just drop the parentheses because this plus sign would not impact the next two signs. So I want to get rid of those, and what I'm going to do is just kind of like white them out. But you could just rewrite this in the next step without the parentheses. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms, and also a plus negative is the same thing as going to give me just the minus sign. So this will become a minus. I'm going to go ahead and underline. So I have 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1. Let me start with my biggest terms. 5x cubed. Maybe I will circle it once I've accounted for it. Then I have negative 13x squared. And I have negative 6x plus 9x. I'm going to combine that in my head and put the 3x. Alright, it's already in standard form. Let's check out number 7. Number 7, I have to be a little bit more careful because of this minus sign right here. When I distribute that negative sign or the negative 1, if it helps you to think about it, this is going to change every sign inside of my parentheses here. So this is going to become a positive 2z squared. This is going to become a negative z, and this will be a negative 3z cubed. Alright, and this is a 6 minus 4z minus 8z squared. Let me go ahead and underline these. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then maybe the dotted line. Let me start with my biggest terms. I have negative 3z cubed, and then I have negative 8z squared plus 2z squared. I'm going to get negative 6z squared. Let's see here. Let me circle that one too. Negative 4z minus z is negative 5z, and I have a plus 6. Sorry about that, kind of cut. A little better. Alright, let's check out this next one. Let's pick blue. Okay, so a couple things here. I need to distribute this 3 to both of these terms and distribute the negative to both of those terms. this becomes a negative 15a squared plus 12a minus 12a squared minus, check that, it's going to be a plus 9a to the 5th power. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and then I have a to the 5th. You could do 5 lines if you want, but I'm going to just do 3 because there's nothing bigger and I won't have to worry about that. Anything in between. So I have 9a to the 5th. Let's see, next I have negative 15, negative 12a squared, so that is negative 27a squared and 12a. So all 4 are accounted for, and there's my answer. Let's move on to the next set of problems. Number 9, we are finding the product and writing those in standard form. I'm going to try to go through these kind of quick so I can finish in 3 minutes. Let's see here. 3 times r minus 2 squared. Be careful you do not just distribute this 2 because there is a negative sign here. What you have to do instead is say, well, if it was 2 squared, that would mean 2 times 2, but it's r minus 2 squared. So that is r minus 2 times r minus 2. This will give me, I'm going to use brackets here, r squared minus 2r plus 4, okay? And then I have 3 times r squared minus 4r plus 4, and then 3r squared minus 12r plus 12. Okay, let's check out number 10. Number 10 would be a foiling problem. You don't have to worry about foiling. I'm just like the last one, when you have binomials or any type of parentheses times parentheses, it's like distributing everything to everything else. So in this case, I'm going to start with a 2 times 4c, which is 8c, 2 times 6, which is 12, and then negative 3e times 4c gives me a minus 12ce, and negative 3e times 6 is negative 18e. And there's nothing that I can combine, so if I'm going to write these in standard form, this is my biggest term because I have 2 like 1's powers there. That would give me 2. And then I'm going to put 8c before 18e because c comes before e in the alphabet, and I am left with 12. Let's check out 11. 11's a bit of work itself. Let's go ahead and go on it. Let me distribute 3x to these 2 terms, and then I will take care of that in the next step. So this becomes 12x squared minus 3x. This is in parentheses, and now I need to distribute that / FOIL to x squared plus 2x. Let me do that in this next step. So this step right here gives me 12x cubed plus 24x cubed. I'm sorry, this should be a 4. And then I have negative 3x cubed minus 6x squared. Let me combine these terms right there and get 12x to the 4th power plus 21x cubed minus 6x squared. Now I am going fairly quick on some of these problems, so if you are not sure on how I'm doing some of these calculations, please message me or ask me in person. If you notice that I made an error, just let me know too, and I'll let the whole class know. Thanks, and that's probably going to be the end of this first video. Whoops. We'll pick up on 12 in the next video.